I'm not a gym owner. I'm a business owner. That's what makes us different is that we tell stories and we're a brand. If you're not for the brand 100%, then you're not really going to fit in. And that's really what it is. If you don't bleed the brand, if you're not willing to get up at 2 a.m. to go film something, if you're not willing to, be there every single minute of the day, then it's just not really for you. Complacency in any industry, it kills. It's the worst poison. You can't become complacent. In the gym industry, there are a lot of people that become complacent. They spend all this money on equipment. They build these, nice facilities, and all of a sudden, like, okay, I'm done. It's like, no.
Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide, a podcast where we record, and we are recording right now. And with me, as always, is my co-host and very special friend, coming at you live from California, Mr. Mateo Lopez. And with us today is a very special guest, a gym owner out of New York, Connecticut, and now South Carolina, a man of many different talents, which we will get into, and a man with a very interesting last name. Without further ado, I present to you Mike Orefici.
What's up, guys?
How do we do?
That was good. I do wear a lot of hats, so it's tough to sometimes introduce me. So I get it.
So we found you just cruising on the internet, looking for cool spaces, looking for people who had something, that just like didn't look like the average gym in the area. Your Iron Vault, I think your New York location was the one that we popped up for us, and it just looks rad, man. Can you give us a little insight into what Iron Vault is and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so Iron Vault was founded in 2019. I was just fresh out of college, or a year or so after college. I played Division I lacrosse at Loyola, Maryland. I had no direction. I knew I wanted to stay in kind of like the strength conditioning world. It's like the same story every college athlete tells you. It's, after college, I want to open a gym. I want to do something with fitness because that's all I have. And it really is. It's a pretty stereotypical story. Just a kid out of college. I had no why. And, I found a little space. I started a business. My father's an entrepreneur. He's a contractor. He owns his own contracting business. So, just growing up, seeing him go to work every day for himself and have that, hammer nail mentality, it kind of like was just raised in me. So I knew I wanted to do my own business. Actually, my wife came up with the name. I hope she doesn't watch this, so she doesn't take credit for that. But yeah, it was kind of just, hey, like, let's make it work. It's do or die. I have nothing else going for me. I got to make it work, and that's how it all started.
And so what is it like it's a fob gym, it's a access gym? What services do you guys offer?
So when we first started, my whole goal was I did not want to be like anybody else. I think that, everything I do, I mean, even myself, I want to go against the grain as much as possible. And everybody thought I was crazy. They're like, how are you going to open a gym in Westchester County, New York? There's Equinox, Lifetime, all these big box name gyms, all these, successful gyms. And for me, I kind of saw that as an opportunity. I said, how many pizza places are there in New York or in the city? Why are they all so successful? Because each person has their own particular taste, or each person has, a culture behind why they go to the same pizza place for 25 years. So I saw that kind of like as an opportunity. There's a specific reason why Iron Vault is not named Iron Vault Gym or Iron Vault Fitness or Iron Vault anything like that, because I knew from day one that I didn't want to open a gym. I wanted to start a brand. I wanted to start a company. Fast forward, Iron Vault, it's a key fob access gym. Our initial 2019 location, our first New York location, we specifically partnered with Arsenal Strength. That was kind of like before all these gyms started doing it. So we were actually one of their first fully outfitted facilities.
Explain what Arsenal is, because we do skew, like we have a lot of like CrossFit type gyms, and they won't appreciate what that is.
No, yeah, absolutely. So Arsenal Strength, it's an equipment manufacturer. They're based in Tennessee. And everything's made in the USA. Everything's built to order. It, in my opinion, I'm not saying this because I have a lot of their stuff. Some people collect watches. I collect gym equipment. I think they're the best equipment on the market. And in 2019, we were one of the first original facilities to fully outfit with Arsenal Strength. I think that's kind of what made us different. Was I picked a brand. I said, you know what? If I want to create my own brand, I want to make everything as symbolic, symmetrical as possible. And that was kind of like our goal from day one. Is create an everlasting brand that you affiliate yourself with Arsenal, you affiliate yourself with Ironfall. They go hand in hand, and it's a great partnership. I'm really good friends with all the owners there, the president, Brad Holt, all those guys. So it's been a great day one. And my second facility, same thing, same blueprint, fully Arsenal. And as we go on, so on, they'll all be Arsenal Strength.
And so here I can share my screen so we can take a look at some of the pics here. I'm trying to go back down through the archive. How big is each facility? I was having trouble gauging that.
So from day one, that's always been actually a marketing ploy. My first gym, which you're kind of looking at those old pictures, are from 2019. That my first gym was 4,000 square feet. It's in the same building. So my first facility, yep, that's right there. I actually remember those pictures. It was 4,000 square feet. And in my lease agreement, I was prioritized over anybody else. So before any space in the entire building was put on the market, I was given, the right to, hey, do you want to take the space? Absolutely. Name it, give me a number, I'll make it work. And that's how we kind of developed grown from 4,000 to almost 18,000 square foot facility. My Sono location, so Sono, Connecticut, it's about 9,000, so it's not as big, but I think quality over quantity. I think I can build a way better 10,000 square foot facility than like 90% of these like 20, 40,000 square foot gyms that I've seen blow up. I think that's really the name of the game. It's like Ironfall is quality. We don't need financial backing. We don't need money from other countries. We're homegrown here. I could build a gym quality with my guys from Arsenal, and that's all. That's about it.
And before I ask my next question, can you explain, it's in Scarsdale, can you explain that area to people who aren't familiar? Maybe not like Teo as bohemian and understands the different parts of New York.
Yeah. So New York is, I think if you were to take New York City and remove it from the map, New York is a great state. I'm born and raised from New York. I live down in South Carolina. I fly back and forth. But New York is a great place. So Westchester County is the suburbs of the city. So a lot of families, a lot of people that work in the city live outside the city. Unless you make a lot of money, you could have a lot of land in the city somewhere. If you know where it is, let me know. But it's kind of like a rural area. It's a suburban area. It's super bougie. It kind of fit. What's funny is in 2019 when I started Iron Vault, my goal was there's actually probably an old YouTube video. Actually, I might have deleted it, but I talked about how I want to, go grab a Starbucks after I go work out and, beat the shit out of my body. I'm going to go home and I'm going to grab a Starbucks on my way out. That's everybody. Everybody wants to feel like they're, part of this grungy, cool, dark gym. But at the end of the day, you're going home. You're not really like that. And you go home, you get in your G-Wagon. You go home, you get in you go home, your nice apartment. There's nobody that really lives that life. And that was kind of my whole goal with, building a gym like that in Westchester. It was trying to build something where you could go be a completely different person, just tear it up in the gym and then, but you're still in a nice place.
Yeah, I got the Zillow for Scarsdale pulled up right now. I think about the average I see is about $3 million.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in Scarsdale. I grew up in Westchester. Westchester is a variety of types of homes. I didn't grow up there.
Well, yeah, I'm setting the stage, right? Because what I'm gonna show you here is we're gonna pull up the Instagram again, right? And we look here, and it doesn't look like most of the people we talk to on here. Hey, I'm the place for 45-year-old moms, or like I want to make dads a little hotter, and then your Instagram tends to skew a lot younger. It also is like a lot of people we talk to are like, hey, I don't want to put barbells in my stuff. You got weights, you got people lifting heavy everywhere. Who are you trying to target? It sounds like this was deliberate. Like this was not an accident.
So in particular, I think what we do a really good job at is telling stories. I think that, I mean, you guys, I'll tell you the truth, you guys probably see way more gyms and gym owners than I do. I don't really care for the gym industry as a whole. Me, I'm kind of, anybody can open a gym. That's why, when you start the podcast, you say, Mike Murphy, gym owner. I never tell people I'm a gym owner because, how many gyms are there in the world? How many gyms are there in a 15-minute drive from here? To be different, you got to walk different. You got to go against the grain. And I've said that from day one. When I first started this company, I specifically did not put gym, Iron Vault Gym, Iron Vault Fitness, Iron Vault whatever, because I'm not a gym owner. I'm a business owner. That's what makes us different, is that we tell stories and we're a brand. We're not just a gym. That I think that's why people like us, is because at the end of the day, tomorrow a black and white gym can open down the street and call themselves Iron Aqua. I'm looking at my water bottle right here. Anybody can do it. How many gyms since 2019 have opened Iron something, Iron this, black and white?
We had one.
We
Yeah,
had a black
it
and white
happens.
iron
Listen,
something. It was
listen,
our worst
and
gym ever.
I'll tell you the truth. I get sent a lot of funny things, and listen, like I said, it's for us. Anybody can do it. It's all about the characters that are in my company, my brand. That's what makes us different at the end of the day.
So like, what does it mean to like build a brand? Like, what's the difference between in your definition? Like, what's the difference between like branding and advertising? Like, when you make a post on Instagram, how do you think of that post as like showcasing your brand versus like something you're gonna, use as like an ad?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a clear difference between a brand orientated post and then an advertisement. For us, we are way, way past advertisement type focused posts. We focus really on pushing the brand because, like I said, in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 3-4 years ago, nobody was doing mic'd up videos. Nobody was doing equipment breakdown or, tours and stuff like that. And, you look back at our feed, we were really the first people to kind of do that, or we were the first part of the first wave of people that would do that. And, now I see videos like that and I'm like, listen, that's good for the industry. I love it. Like, you're getting people to highlight equipment. Like, that's an advertisement to me. We don't do those anymore. Everybody does those. There's millions of posts like that across the internet. So for us, our posts are really tell a story. How can we relate somebody back to our leave no doubt mantra or breathe when you're done? Iron Vault, we tell really good stories. And I think that's what carries our brand is, being a successful brand is, can you tell stories versus can you do an advertisement? Anybody can post up a piece of our equipment and be like, look at this great new piece they got. It's like, all right, the 4 gyms down the road, they got that. What's the difference? So I think that's what makes us different.
I certainly think you guys are exceptional at that. Like, I just like watched a couple of videos and it's like, I don't know, there was one you did like the Iron Vault views and it's just like, is powerlifting a sport? And you're interviewing people in the gym. And I watched like the whole thing. It's like obviously working to keep me engaged and it's good stuff. I'm always curious how you quantify that and figure out what's my ROI on something like this. I'm spending a lot of money. I'm hiring a lot of video guys and editors and spending a lot of time doing this stuff. How do you quantify like this is working to drive new customers or this isn't working?
I think it's tough because we've definitely had a lot of flops. There's been a lot of flops. Like Vault Views. You remember my Vault Views? That was a flop. Like, it might have gotten 5,000 views or whatever it got. It was a flop. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I loved it. I loved watching it, but it was a flop. But now it sounds like it was a flop. So it's wild to say.
So this is the thing, and I think sometimes you got to throw shit on the wall and hope it sticks. So we do have a lot of content that we're like, this is going to be great. It doesn't work. But that's the whole, ideology around being a pioneer in the industry. Like, you got to try new things. You got to do different things. Like last summer when I competed in tactical games, that was a great story for us. That alone, I think, really helped propel our brand. When if you ask anybody else, they'd be like, don't post guns. Like, don't do that. Terrible. Like, you're going to get banned and blah, shadow ban, whatever. Again, to be a pioneer, you got to do different things. And that was kind of like for us, it was like, let's do it. Like, we could tell a really good story about this. We could get great content from it. Why not? So sometimes it's a risk. There's definitely a lot of risk, like I said, in being a pioneer and doing things that nobody else wants to do. But like, that's just the way it is. You got to be different. To be different, you got to take risks. And we are definitely risk takers.
Yeah, I noticed you tend to stitch yourself into the story or like the stuff that you're into. So you mentioned the tactical games, and maybe you can explain what that is for some people. But it seems like we'll do a 2-for-1 now. It seems like now a lot of the content is revolving around you training for the Leadville 100, which is another insane thing. That explain that one too, so people know just how nuts some of this stuff is.
Yeah, so our like I said, our brand is all about storytelling. That's what we want to do. We want to get people to relate to a story. Like you said, you want to view something, you want to be engaged, you want to watch a journey, a process. That's really the whole name of the game. Whether it's running 100 miles or it's running your first 5K, it doesn't matter. There's a story behind it. So for us, our brand, we don't work with influencers. We work with characters. We build characters. That's the whole goal of our brand. So for us, who wants to run 100 miles? I'll do it. Absolutely. I'll do it 100%. Even though it's going to suck, I want to do it. And if anybody learns anything from that, you could go do anything you want to do as long as you put your nose in the dirt and get to it. And that was kind of like a little goal of our whole Road to Leadville series. Get engagement about the brand. What's the ideology around the Breathe When You're Done and Iron Vault, and Leave No Doubt. But hey, if we can motivate 2 people to go run, that's great for us. And that's kind of like the whole goal. It's like, we have a following, we have these members of the gym. How can we optimize them and push them to be better instead of letting them be complacent and then dry out at the gym? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'm training for 100 miles, but I'm motivating people at the same time to get out there and do it.
I think you're underselling the Leadville. So not only is it 100
I'm not
miles,
underselling it, trust me. So it's a 100-mile race. It's the most iconic 100-mile race. It's in Leadville, Colorado. It's about 14,000 feet of elevation gain. So it'll be a wild time. It's good because we just launched an energy drink. So it'll be part of like that whole new story with it. Yeah, no, it's if anybody has time to look it up, Leadville 100. It's a wild ride. I highly recommend. If you don't want to get into running, don't watch it. But no, it's a good race. It'll be a fun time. August 16th, so I'm about 31 weeks out.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't understand what 14,000 feet up, like for context, if you're like a private pilot in a plane, like legally, you must use oxygen continuously at 14,000 feet, right? Because there's you have a risk of hypoxia, so you just literally like fall asleep at that altitude. So to just be running an ultra marathon up there is gnarly.
Yeah, so it's a 30-hour cutoff, and it'll be a good time. We have a whole team coming out, so it'll be. And like I said, if I think the goal with the whole Road to Leadville series is it's not about me. It's about representing the brand and getting people that are within our community or not even with our community. Just being motivated to go out and do something and try something new, and that's it. Whether it's running a 5K, whether it's running your first 1 mile, it doesn't matter. It's getting out of your comfort zone, going against the grain, and just leaving no doubt in anything you do.
Will you explain the tactical games too while you're at it? A bunch of like Jason Khalipa, I think Jacob Hepner, like a lot of these older CrossFit Games athletes are doing this stuff now because.
So the tactical games is it's kind of like a hybrid sport between I don't even really want to say CrossFit. It's kind of like CrossFit Strongman and shooting. So there's long run, so there's rifle, pistol. It's you have to execute a workout and then a shoot. So essentially what you're doing is you're kind of like, if there's 4 stages or 4 rounds of one stage, you're lifting, then performing a shoot with an elevated heart rate, then lifting again, kind of like going back and forth. The more misses you have, the more points that get deducted, and so on and so on. It's a really interesting sport. I really love it. I wasn't able to compete this year, but I'll 100% be back next year once I finish Leadville.
Yeah, so you're creating a lot of content around some of these things that you're doing to kind of, like, as you said, showcase the brand and what you guys are about. Like, what is the kind of process for creating content? How much are you spending every month on these videos, these posts? And then what's the team that you have in order to publish this stuff? Do you have like a full-time video guy? Do you have a team of people? Like, how's it work?
Yeah, so like you said, to have this much content and to be doing this much content, you need a whole team. So we have one full director of media who's on payroll. He's there at our office. We have a headquarters in Westchester. He's there all the time. He's kind of doing the bulk of the editing. And then essentially any project that, we need somebody to go do, we kind of outsource them depending on, who we want. We definitely have our guys that we call, but there's probably a team of 4 or 5 of us. And I'm actually part of it. A lot of people don't know that I actually went to school for communications. So I minored in graphic design. So I actually help a lot with the design process for a lot of our apparel, our energy drink. I designed the whole thing. A lot of the editing for photos and videos. I actually hop in a lot of the calls and do a lot as much as I can, because to be a business owner, you got to wear a lot of hats. So, I do a lot of it, but we have a great team, and they're all, completely. We actually just had an interview last night with another kid that we're bringing in. And I specifically always say, if you're not for the brand 100%, then you're not really going to fit in. And that's really what it is. If you don't bleed the brand, if you're not willing to get up at 2 a.m. to go film something, if you're not willing to, be there every single minute of the day, then it's just not really for you. And we get a lot of people that want to work for us. And we've had a lot of people that come work for us that, they love the brand. They love it. They think they love it. But at the end of the day, if you're really not in love with it, and you're really not do or die for it, it's just not going to work. So that's how we, build a media team and get guys that, really want to contribute to it.
So I guess if I'm a gym owner who, like, I'm looking at my Instagram, I'm looking at yours, I'm like, oh, I have to step up my game. Like, what's the first step, and what should I be expected to, like, invest in?
I think it's tough because I get asked the same question so many times. I want to open a gym, or I have a gym. What do I do? It's hard. It's really not that easy. I think opening a gym is the easiest process. I think doing what we do, completely different ball game. You got to be different. You got to ask yourself, am I different, or how can I be different? And that's the first question you got to ask before you even start with any content creation, anything that you think is going to work. Go back to the drawing board. Think again. Like that's really the only thing I'd say. It's like, don't force it, because we forced a lot of content that didn't work. And I think that's what makes us successful, is that we know when to push it and when to pull back. I mean, how, like you said, the ROI and having, content ready and investment and stuff. For every post that you see, we probably have 100 that we spent money on, working on, hours, days, weeks, months, that we don't post because, they don't fit, or, they don't fit our brand identity shift from last week. This week, they work, but maybe next week they're not going to work because we're changing the pivot. But I would say, look yourself in the mirror. How am I different from the guy down the street? How am I different from the guy down the other side of the street? I think that would be the only thing I'd say.
And so when people ask you that, we talked a little bit about the guns. We talked a little bit about weaving in, or I think that's just a subset of, like, weaving in your interests into what's going on. But, we talked about Arsenal, but what are the other things that, when people look at Iron Vault, like, what should be popping out to them?
I just think that the way that I always look at it is, is this going to send a message to the viewer, or is this going to send a message to the person that walks through our doors? So I always make the joke, like I said at the beginning, it's like, we're not called Iron Vault Gym. We're not called Iron Vault Fitness. I used to love, I don't really hear it as much anymore, but I used to love when people used to walk in our doors and ask us what we are, or walk by and like, what is Iron Vault? And, I remember my dad being like, you really should put gym or something outside. And I'm like, no, like, I love that, because you know what that makes it? It makes it super unique. Nobody knows what you are, which means you can paint your own canvas, whatever you want your brand to be. Like, imagine if Starbucks never started Starbucks coffee. Like Dunkin', look at Dunkin' Donuts. They dropped donuts. Dunkin'. Like, now the ample opportunity you have as a brand now to completely go off the rope. If Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow wants to make hot sauce, they could just put Dunkin' hot sauce. That's it. Tomorrow, if I want to make Iron Vault maple syrup, we can do that. People might be like, what the fuck? But, like, doesn't matter. Our brand is what separates us from everybody. That's what makes us special, is the ability to transform and do whatever we want and be successful in it. That's what makes our brand so special. And that's why I tell everybody, like, that if you want to start a company, you got to ask yourself those couple of questions. Like, how am I different? How can I be different? And do I have the mental fortitude to go through when shit does not work? Like I said, we've had a lot of shit that does not work, but you got to bury it and keep going, learn from your mistakes and keep pushing through.
Where do your leads come from? Is it all from social media?
I would say pretty much. Like I said, we don't do any physical advertisement, anything hard copy. We don't do any of that. We always have been on social media.
The reason most of these, like a lot of gym owners, don't have brands or don't put a lot of effort,
Which is
into
fine. I don't
storytelling.
want to say that the way I do it is the right way. I know a lot of really successful gym. Actually, a gym that we all my friends and I all came from. Super Phoenix Fitness, super successful gym. We'll never leave. Like our gym is 10 minutes away. And I hate when people leave that gym to come to ours. I'm like, I love the guy who owns that place. I love that gym. I don't want anybody to hear this and be like, oh, I need to start a brand. No, you can be a gym owner, be very successful in this world. It's just not what I wanted to do.
Well, the reason a lot of gym owners don't do it is because it's very hard and it takes a
I
lot
agree.
of planning and thinking. And so, I wanted to ask you, like, from what we've heard, you can get disproportionate results if you pull it off. Like, what type of lead flow does this generate for you guys? Like how many leads you get a month from?
I think on average, I'd have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure the last time I looked, I think our 30-day engagement was 300,000, over 300,000 in the last 30 days on our Iron Vault Instagram. The problem really is it like the gun content. That's what Shadowban does. But again, like I said, sometimes you got to eat shit, and that for us, that made our brand different. But like I said, Instagram, we really only do Instagram, YouTube. We've been on TikTok. We had an intern that ran our TikTok for a little bit. It popped off. Didn't really like it. It just didn't fit our brand. And like I said, we are an algorithm driven business. Like I said, 2019, 2020, 2021, we were doing things when people weren't doing them. Mic'd up videos, crazy, expensive, wild edits. We don't do those anymore. That's not what we do. We're a matured brand. We tell stories. We share experiences. We motivate our people. And that's, like you said, sometimes it doesn't pay off, but you got to be able to innovate or evolve. Complacency in any industry, it kills. It's the worst poison. You can't become complacent. And in the gym industry, there are a lot of people that become complacent. They spend all this money on equipment. They build these, nice facilities, and all of a sudden, like, okay, I'm done. It's like, no, you can't be complacent in any business, specifically the gyms.
So of this like engagement that you're getting, how many of those turn into like actual people inquiring about the gym? And then what's the process after that? They find your video on Instagram. What's the next step to turn them into like a customer?
So I think we've always ran ads, but our ads, I think a couple of them have only ever taken you to the website. We direct all of our ads through our Instagram. So everything that we do takes you to our Instagram. Then you decide whether you want to keep scrolling and engage with the brand or not. You can't really put a number on like, oh, this person found us on Instagram. This person found us on YouTube. Like, I can't really put a number on that. We have way too many people to do that. But I would say that it's probably very high. I would think a lot of people probably do find us through social media. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to put a number on it. I like I said, our guy pays attention to it, but it would be so hard. We have way too many people coming and going every day.
Totally. But so then like once they find you, what's the once they get on their Instagram, they start scrolling around, they start liking posts. Like, what's the process of getting them sold?
We don't listen. I've told everybody from day one, I'm not a salesman. They're either coming or they're either with it or they're not. And I think if you want to compare the two, social media and in person, like we get a lot of people that come in that they love, oh my God, this is so cool. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I kind of like my old gym better. And they go, and that's it. We don't hold you account. We don't have, my gyms have no contracts, no lock. We don't do anything like that. You want to be here, then you want to be here. You like our brand, then you like our brand. There's nothing, we don't want to force you to be here. And I think that's, like a retention thing, like you're talking about. You can't get really hung up on those types of things. Some people change their mind. If you get too codependent on the actual individual, you're going to lose that battle 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, once they see it, they like it, they're interested. They're walking in the gym, maybe, or do they DM you? Are you DMing these people to find out if they're interested? Are they walking in by themselves after they see a
They
Facebook
just walk in.
post
They just
or
come
Instagram
in.
post?
They just come in.
They just come in. You sign them up. That's it.
They want to join. That's it. I think what you're trying to explain is what a lot of gym owners do. I think that, but we have 3,000 people. You can't get hyper focused on all these people coming and going. Like, I love every single one of our members, but we're not sitting on our phones being like, oh, they liked our post. Hey, do you really want to come check out the gym? Like, the amount of day passes we sell in a month, like we'd be dead. My phone would be broken.
So maybe we should have started there. How many members do you have at the gym?
Well, a lot. So probably just under 3, I would say, total between both facilities.
Okay, so we probably missed that part. So you have like 1,500 people at one of these locations, you know.
Yeah, I would say
More or less.
way more. I would say our New York facility has way more. Our Sono facility, it's more of like a satellite type gym, way smaller. It's in kind of like an apartment development zone where you get a lot of people that, they already have gyms. It's kind of like more just like a small, hey, let's open a second gym, make it a little satellite base, throw all of our Arsenal equipment in there. It's not our main facility. Our New York facility is our 100%, our bread and butter.
So you're like over 2,000 in New York.
Yeah, I would say almost there.
On auto pay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're trying to know how the fuck do you get 2,000 members on auto pay? I think that's what that's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable.
I really do think that it just comes down to the no bullshit. I think that's kind of what we do. It's really just a no bullshit motto. And listen, I think this is what I say to everybody, because I get asked this question a lot, like probably weekly, is I want to open a gym. How do I open a gym? I want to open a gym. How do I do that? Don't ask that question. If you're asking me that question, how do I open a gym? You are already behind the 8 ball. When I started in 2019, I had nobody to go ask. I didn't DM these people and be like, hey, bro, like I want to know how to open a gym. No, I had to go do it myself. I had to learn, figure out chapters 1 through 20. That was the goal. Figure out, how do I open a gym? How do I do it? What's the financing part? How do I get a space? What's the difference to commercial space? Like I had to do it myself. So the people that come in, they're like, hey, how do I do it? Don't ask me that question. You need to, I will give you the tools. I'll help you along, but you need to figure it out. That's the process. Everybody had to go through that. So I think, our success, like you said, it's how do you get 2,000 people on auto pay? A lot of fucking process and error. So from my first gym to my second gym, there was a lot of operational side or system side that we had to change, because we said, okay, the way that we're doing it now, it's kind of working, but like, hey, can it work for a second facility? No. Okay, make the change. I was going to open my third gym last year. It was going to be my biggest gym. It's going to be like 25,000 square feet. We had to make changes systematically to even open the third gym. I said, okay, the way we're doing these 2 gyms can't work anymore. We need to make the changes. We made those changes. We didn't open our third gym yet, but that was what we had to do. We had to constantly make improvements. So you hear the number 2,000, to me, I'm like, is that a lot? I have no idea. I really don't, because I don't live in the gym owner world. I live in the business world. That's where I live. I don't know. Is 2,000 a lot? I have no idea. Is it a lot?
Depends on the world you're coming from, but yeah, it's definitely, if you're comparing yourself to like other small gym owners starting from nothing, yeah, it's a lot.
I think what I want to make sure everyone understands is I was at that point. I think you guys had a girl, and I watched her while I was flying back from Charleston. Like she had like 300 members or something, 600, whatever she had. And I said to myself, I remember being at that point. I think the difference between me then and me now is that we have those people, but I still have that same exact mindset. I'm building a brand. I remember the day we hit 200 members. It was like, wow, we hit 200 freaking members. Holy shit. But it never changed. That goal of building the brand has never changed. It stayed the same. The difference is people have started to latch onto that brand. That's the difference. Now they've been able to appreciate it.
Hey, gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, book a call at usekilo.com.
So you made a comment earlier about, maybe a little jab at some of these influencer gyms. The one that kind of put that trend on my radar was like Alpha Land. And
Alpha
you guys
Elite
were...
Before it was Alpha Land.
Huh?
It was Alpha Elite, then Alpha Land.
Yeah. And so you were, 29, Alpha Land was 2022, I believe, is when it opened. So you opened 2019. You were 3 years before that. So, who were you looking at to draw inspiration? Or were you just, this came to you in a dream?
No, it came, yeah, it definitely came to me. But I think the way that I would describe it is in 2019, to me, there were really only 3 gyms that were doing it at that point, that were making social media and branding kind of like the ideology around the gym. It was Zoo Culture, it was Alpha Elite, and it was Warhouse in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you're familiar with Warhouse. It was Rob and Lynn Bailey. They used to own this gym called Warhouse. It went out of business. They closed it because they moved away, whatever. But those to me were the first 3 gyms that were making social media kind of like the forefront of the gym. They were combining the two. And that's why I talked about at the very beginning, 2019, we were really the first wave of social media driven business model for a gym. And those were really the first 3. Bradley Martin, Zoo Culture, Christian Guzman, Alpha Elite, and then Rob and Dana for Warhouse. But I think, that's where it kind of all started. It was like, hey, there's an opportunity here. I know that the type of person I am. I know the mentality I have. I can make it work. I just need time. And I'm saying just need time. Like I'm talking like I know everything. I've only been open for how long? 5 years now, 6 years. And to see this much progress, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't just happen, 2,000 members tomorrow. No, there are plenty of nights like everyone has those badass, home stories. I was sleeping on the turf. I was sleeping on the turf, sleeping in the hammock before Key Fob Access, doing things. I still love to clean the floors and do all the bare minimum stuff. But at the same time, it's like you got to have those types of ambitions or goals. You can't be complacent.
Well, you mentioned some of the things that you've changed over time in terms of processes in order to grow. What were some of those things?
Well, let's take a step back. That's a good question. But one of the things that we alluded to earlier, but haven't brought up since, is you don't live in the same area as your
I was
gyms,
going to get
right?
there. Well, I was going to figure out how we eventually then got to the being remote. But
I'm not
yes.
remote. I'm not remote. I am a frequent flyer.
Yeah, you run from South Carolina back up
it wouldn't
to
be that. It's only
New
800
York.
miles. It wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
you
be
run
that
back
bad.
and forth between locations. But yeah, I mean, getting the systems in place so that you are not, I guess you're not saying remote, but you don't live where the gyms are anymore. So yeah, what were some of the things and the processes and the systems you did put in place that enabled you to do that?
Yeah, so in 2021, I think 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. He's gonna kill me. I brought my brother in. My brother is a finance guru. He's kind of like hey, smack me in the back of the head. Don't buy that. Like that's what my brother is. And I think every business needs that. I think without my brother, I don't think that our business would be financially or I would say financially in a place that it is today. He's been great. He really is. He holds it down while I'm not there, but he does a lot of office work. He does a lot of behind the scenes, negotiating with people and going through business deals and stuff like that. So my brother Chris has been great. He was one of the best additions for our company, but like you said, systems, like to be efficient, you have to have a great team. And, going through the process from 1 gym to 2 gyms, really kind of like, hey, we need to make some changes here as a company. I am the business owner, but I cannot be working the counter, sitting the counter every single day for 8 hours a day. So you need to hire a manager, somebody that you can trust, somebody that lives and breathes a brand, that understands the importance of our goals and what we're trying to achieve here as a company. And then you got to find a really good staffing team, a really good team of guys that are willing to do anything, go above and beyond for the brand. And those were like, obviously easy things, easy solutions, making sure guys practice extreme ownership and doing things that, but I grew up in a team environment. I played divisional lacrosse. I know what playing at that level and competing and being part of a real team is like. So, finding guys that fit that system and fit that, operational goal. And then like you said, auto payment, getting things that, might seem, hard at the beginning, but you got to get them dialed in. So I remember one gym that we used to compete with. We don't really compete with them anymore. I don't even know if they're still alive, but they used to do cash memberships. And I remember we used to get people that come in and be like, oh, like my whatever gym does cash. I'm like, no, like 1, I can't track that. 2, you could leave tomorrow. I have no idea. So I'm not taking cash. Now, okay, the way that I say it is, the gym industry is filled with a lot of passionate, driven people. So the way I compare the gym industry is like restaurants. A lot of people that open restaurants are really passionate about food or cooking, but they have zero business sense. They have no idea what they're doing for business. They make horrible negotiation deals. They have no idea how to talk to landlords or how to go through contracts and how to do these things. So a gym owner would be like, yeah, cash, I'll take it. Cash is king, cash is king, cash is king, right? But how do you keep that person on auto payment? Oh, well, I know him. He's going to come back. No, you don't. You can't treat them like they're the honest individual. So those are things that we had to eliminate. No more cash. Credit card processing, different membership softwares. We for years did manual key fobs. We had like these little keychain things. They cost me like $5,000 a month with the amount we were giving away and signing people up 20, 30, 40 people a day. So it's like, all right, let's revisit that. Second gym, third gym. Okay, let's figure out an automatic system that goes to your phone that you physically have to be at this exact longitude, latitude, detail place. Like completely change the business. Just little things like that I've learned over time to be able to, hey, here's the pamphlet to open the third gym, go. Here's the pamphlet to open the fourth gym, go. And just making incremental changes as you go. And that's what, being a smart businessman is. It's not, I love the gym. But again, at the end of the day, I'm a businessman. That's what I am. I'm a businessman, a business owner. Then I'm a gym owner. And that's a lot. That's the difficulty in the gym industry is a lot of people get into it and like, oh, I love the gym. I love training people. I love it. Oh, I'm going to buy a couple of these racks and then set them up. And oh no, no more people, just my friends. It's like, okay, well, now you have to be a business person, put your business hat on and figure out how to get people. Like you said, the systems are the most important thing, is developing the systems and the plans to make sure that, you are always have an answer to any question.
So you got basically a membership. It seems like there's a couple different flavors of the same one, but the centerpiece is basically access for $100 a month. We talked about some of the other things. You're making merch. You got a energy drink. You got a couple other irons in the fire, obviously. But when we're looking just at the brick and mortar space, are you do you have other revenue streams? Are you offering personal training? Are you subleasing to other personal trainers? Like what does that look like?
And how much of your revenue per month comes from those day passes? It sounds like you do a lot of day passes too.
We do a lot of day passes, which is good because we're close to the city. A lot of people, there's no real gyms in the city, and if they are, they're not real gyms. Going back to what you were saying, we don't do any subleasing, any trainers, anything like that. So what I've said from day one is everything that happens within our company happens in-house, no matter what. We don't give handouts. We don't, let people come use the gym for free and do stuff like that. Everything that we do happens in-house. So all of our trainers that we have at our facilities are all independent contractors. They're all members. They do whatever they want. Their clients are members, or their clients are day passes. And then if they reach a certain number of clients, so let's say, Joe has 9, let's say he has 9 clients. After 10 clients, his membership is covered. And then he gets like a certain incentivized, like we give him some sort of incentive, like, hey, every client now doesn't pay X, Y, and Z. They could pay this much after the 10. We don't do anything like that. Like I said, it's a lot of my friends that I'm friends with now, years later, that are in our circle or within my company now, they've come from gyms in the area that did the opposite, where they do the leasing game and they do the, Raymore and Flanagan model, where it's like, hey, I own the gym and there's 10 other businesses operating within my own gym, but they're all paying me. Okay, but how do you know how much that guy's paying you? That guy has 50 clients. Oh, well, really, he has 200 clients. Like he's paying you for 50 clients. You have no idea. That's why we've never done that. I will die in my grave knowing we've never gone that business model. But like you said, the merch has been great for us. We've toned it down a little bit, I think, because now everybody does merch. Now it's like, oh, every box mom and pop gym does merch. So it's kind of like it's lost its touch. That's why we launched IVX, our new energy drink. It's a completely different ball game. Like I said, it's very on brand for us. How can we be different? Look for opportunity. What needs to change? And we saw the energy drink RTD market as something that super stale, all BS. It's let's make a product that we can give our people are our base, our people are our market, and let's make a change. Let's do something that, if I can't physically have a gym in every single state, I can have an energy drink in every single gym in every single state. And that's kind of like our mindset with that, with the apparel as well. That's what our mindset was. But no, I think, just being innovative and making, like you said before, having the systems in place to be successful is super important.
So yeah, I guess what percentage comes from the in-house, like energy drink merch sales? What percentage is from day passes, and then what percentage is from the auto pay monthlies?
So I would say a huge bulk is definitely the membership, 100%. Second place would definitely be day passes. We do a lot of day passes. We have day passes, and then we have guest passes. So essentially our guest passes kind of surpass day pass when you split them up logistically and look at them. Guest passes are 20, day passes are 30, week passes are 99, the way that's priced out, and then membership is 105. So it's priced out that particular way. It's kind of like a ladder system, like, hey, I'm going to be here. I want to come to the gym for 3 days. Okay, well, why don't you get the week pass, then you can come here for more than 3 days. Hey, I want to come here for more than a week. Okay, well, just join then, because then you get the month. But what people don't know is that, well, I mean, you guys don't know, but in our software, in our membership, for you to be a member with us, you have to be with us for 3 months minimum. So you can do month here, pause, month there. You have to be with us for 3 months minimum. The only reason why we do that is because when I was in college, I had a psychology, some dumb class, and it was like build a habit in 90 days. And I was like, hey, if we can get these people to build a habit in 90 days of coming to the gym for that 3 months, maybe they might be like, hey, I love it. I want to be here forever. I've made new friends in the 90 days. I've gotten developed into a system here for 90 days. I love it. So that's kind of like the way that we step it up, but we don't have any like legitimate contracts. No, like you need a doctor's note, anything like that. But yeah, I would say memberships, guest passes, day passes, and then everything else would be like X, Y, and Z day, drinks, protein stuff. We don't do any bars or any like protein shakes and stuff like that. All that stuff it's all trendy. It doesn't last forever. I would say off the top of my head, I probably wouldn't be able to give you a specific number, but that's definitely the breakdown, 100%.
So we've talked to a couple other gym owners who are, similar range in that, 1,500 to 3,000 member range. One of the things that we've heard from a lot of gyms that size, especially ones that the bulk of the revenue comes from access that we haven't really talked about, is events. And I don't see a ton of event stuff on the Instagram. So on your Instagram or anything like that, is that just a strategy you guys don't use, or one that you don't think is important for building a successful gym?
No, I don't think it just fits our business model. I mean, we've been approached by USPA, all the powerlifting of meets, and people that want to do seminars and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's good, you get money, but it's not. My people are more important. My brand identity is more important. So I'll tell you guys a story. So we had Gymshark come rent the gym. They paid us a lot of money. They were like, how much do you think it'll cost us to have the whole gym all day? I'm like, all right, well, if I have this many members and all my members want to come to the gym, and then how many day passes, and then how many energy drinks, all right, here's my number. Like, okay, we'll pay it. They send me the money. I'm like, okay. I closed the gym down all day. We had to send texts out to people, be like, hey, the gym is closed. Gymshark is taking the gym. They showed up. They spent maybe 3 hours at the gym for all day to rent the gym. But they left. They were all there. Like, they didn't work out all day. They were just in the gym for 3 hours actually working out. They made a fucking mess of the gym. They didn't treat any of my staff with respect. It was just like one of the worst experiences we've ever had. And the look on people's faces as they came to the gym, like, I can't use the gym. Like, we're sorry. Like, it's just, we're closed for this event. So that was kind of like the red flag for us. I was like, I'm never doing one of these ever again. The amount of money was worth it, but one, it destroyed the gym. Two, it's our members are more important than the event. So I see a lot of gyms that do the powerlifting meets, and they're like, oh, like this place throws the best events. How many of those people are actually from your gym? 10, 15? All those people just destroyed your gym. Wow, the payout's so worth it. The payout's not worth it. Well, you get paid $4,000, $5,000, if that. It's not worth it for me. So we've never done events. We'll never do them. We might do seminars, like Taylor Atwood wants to do a seminar. He wants to, close the turf or, get some tables and chairs. Yeah, we'll lower the music. We'll say, hey, we're doing a seminar. If anybody wants to come in for free, it's good. But we've never done anything like that. We'll do an IVX event because it's my company, but we'll never do anything like that. No powerlifting meets. I've seen way too much gummy bears and stuff stuck on the floors. I won't do those.
Another thing that we hear a lot from gym owners at Kilo or just gym owners we talk to, negative reviews like rattle gym owners, ruins their day. One of the things that I noticed when we were researching your gym is that it's polarizing, right? Like you got some negative reviews.
I love them.
And I was how do you think about that?
I love negative. If anybody has ever time to read ours, 100% read them. They are comical. I think people that give negative reviews are just hilarious. I think that they're dweebs. Like, what are you doing? What do you get out of the negative review? So our whole thing is we clap back on negative reviews. So we'll throw a really detailed response back. We'll throw digs at them. We'll name drop them in the reviews. We know who they are. I think you can't get hung up on them. They're funny. Like, listen, how many of you guys have you guys ever gone to a place and be like, I'm going to read their reviews before I walk in there? I've never in my life.
Yeah, I
literally
do
every time.
Stop. Yeah, I do quite a bit. Yeah, certainly.
I've never in my life done that. So every time I see these reviews, I'm like, what are you going to get out of that? Also, I think review-based things are absolute BS. I remember a couple of years ago in like 2020, maybe Yelp, we did like a thing like, hey, give us a Yelp review. We give you a 3D. We'll give you an energy drink or whatever we had. It was like a free thing just to give us a review. All we want to do is build our SEO. That was it. And I remember I get a phone call from Yelp and they're like, hey, are you guys soliciting reviews for anything? Like, we've noticed you guys have gotten a spike in reviews. And I was like, hey, no, but we're asking people at the door just to give us a review on Yelp. We're just trying to, get more reviews. And she goes, unfortunately, that's technically soliciting. We have to delete them all. And I said, you know what? I don't care about reviews anymore. They're useless to me. If they're as useless as she just described them as being, to me, I said they're useless, and that was it. And that's kind of like where our whole mentality was like, hey, a 1 star, let's clap back. That doesn't mean anything. Who cares? But you can't get hung up on those. Like I said, pizza places. Everybody has a different opinion on different pizza places. What's the point about getting hung up on, I like that place. It's got deep dish. I got that place. It uses sugar in their marinara. What's the point? You're just going to put yourself in a spin cycle.
Yeah, I'm glad Yelp is more or less dead when it comes to reviews. I remember we were a little bit before you, so we started like we were running gyms from 2013 to 2019, and that was like the heyday. That was before like Google Maps was like the centerpiece for reviews. And to your point, we would have to make these elaborate strategies and space how we ask people to avoid flagging Yelp and having them come knock down all the reviews.
Way too much effort.
You had to figure out who were the people with active Yelp accounts because those were more likely to stick, and then you couldn't ask them directly, but you had to give them the like, hey, notice you reviewed Taco Bell. Do you like it here?
Yeah, you can't get hung up on those. Somebody might have had just a bad day, and that's it. But I don't leave bad reviews up. So if I see a bad review, I got to comment back on it. You got to show people like the COVID ones or when we're closed during COVID or whatever. Somebody posted like, you killed my grandmother or something. I'm like, all right.
We had the founder of Metabolic on, and they're a franchise and similar situation. They do something controversial. They lock their doors. So if class starts at 6 a.m., the doors lock. You show up at 6:01, you're not getting in the gym. So naturally, just like a barrage of negative reviews come from
show up on time. Early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. That's it.
And so, yeah, he encourages every franchisee to respond to those negative reviews. And one of them went viral. What did you say, Teo? Got like 3 million impressions because the owner's response was so funny and like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So our doors at both of our facilities, because we have the key fob access, the gyms are 365 days you can go to the gym. However, the door access is 4 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So you can use the gym. If you're in the gym by midnight, you can be in there all you want. Doesn't matter. At 11:59, the door locks. Our team is detailed to instruct every single person. It is plastered everywhere. That's what it does. It says on the wall at our doors. I don't think you understand how many times every single night people will show up at 1 o'clock. They'll show up at 12:30. They'll show up at 2 o'clock, and they're like, I can't get in. send us an email, a nasty DM. I can't get in the gym. I paid this much. It's like, but that is the rule. We do not bend the knee for just because you pay a membership to come to this facility does not mean we bend the knee for you. We make an exception. That is the rule. And I think going back to like, what makes us successful as a company is like, that's the standard. It's like our members are very important to us. The members that respect our business and take care of it, respect. Like we have how many members? We've also kicked out a lot of people because entitlement is a hell of a drug. People think just because I pay $105 and I go to this exclusive gym, I can do whatever I want. No, I have a no bullshit attitude. You mess up, you're gone. You don't follow the rules, you're gone. So as many people as we kick out a lot of people. And I think that's, again, going back to being a business owner. It's like, be a business owner, not a gym owner. Oh, I want to take their money. I want to take their money. Yeah, but if they're not helping your business and they're hurting your business, get them out. Their money is useless to you if at the end of the day they're hurting your brand, hurting your business. I think that's a lot of bad eggs in a lot of gyms because they pay and people are like, oh, I'm just taking, it's okay, I'll take his money. Like I'll remind him to not do that again or vice versa. But can't live like that.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, you get their membership, but if they're negative, they're talking to everyone around them. They're just like a cancer.
We get a lot of people like that. Like I said at the beginning, badass, cool environment. You're building this like really hard nosed, awesome brand. And they get people that they're too much. They think that it's like, oh, I love this place. Everything is steel. It's cool. It's matte black. I'm going to beat the shit out of it. Hey man, like I just want to let you know you've been fine. If it happens again, I got to kick you out. And then they make a big deal of it. It's like, hey, yeah, you're gone. If you don't help the brand, you don't provide value to us, then you're hurting us. It's not worth the money.
Or just be a steward of the community, like.
Or just fix your attitude. We have people that happen all the time. The gym that's in our area that is, you don't even want to use the word competitor because I don't think of anything like anybody like that. But I think that they're the opposite of us. They're very grungy and dirty and all the equipment's mixed matched, old school vibe. Everybody there, it fits that vibe. And those people will come to our gym and they'll destroy it because that's what they're used to. They're used to leaving things out. They're used to just to being messy and gross and disgusting because that's the way that their gym was. And, you always say, I'd like to see what your home looks like. You treat my gym like shit. 9 times out of 10, those people's homes are like that. So you can't change those people. All you got to do is make sure you preserve your company, preserve your identity, preserve your brand. But yeah, I've seen a lot, my time there, I've seen a lot of creatures, but we had a lot of really good people. So they weed themselves out and then, you keep your community happy.
So we're pushing up on the hour mark here. We heard about what you got going on personally. We heard about the 2 locations. We heard about the energy drink. So what's the plan? What's next for you?
IVX is launching this month. We're really excited about it. I've been working on that project for almost 2 years now. And it's, like I said, I want to leave a legacy. I want to be here. The brick and mortar business side is great. It's going to feed my family. It's going to keep everybody at my table happy. But at the end of the day, those leases, they have time limits. I could buy a building again, like you physically own a building. That's great. But those leases, they have time limits. And I guarantee you 90% of the people that are on this podcast are leasing. They don't own a building. So for me, it's, creating a project or a new business that could surpass that 12, 15, 20-year lease model. I think if anybody's listening, they want to check it out. It's drinkivx.com. And it's going to be a big project. We're trying to get, everywhere we possibly can. And hopefully this is the platform to help.
And where do people go to follow you? You're pretty active across a couple different spots. Where's your preferred spot?
If you just follow Iron Vault, you'll follow me. It's at iron.vault. And then me, it's Mikey_Raffici. It's like I said, I don't think that, people that think that I'm the brand, I'm not the brand. I want to make sure I emulate the brand as best as possible.
And Teo, where do people go if they want to find us?
Just go to usekilo.com. If you need some help with your gym, how to grow, you need a new website, give us a call. If you want help getting more leads, give us a call. And hey, if you need some gym management software to make running your business that much easier, to help you get some of that free time back, to help you make some more money, give us a call. Go to usekilo.com, book a call today.
If you want to tell better stories, we can't help you there. But, maybe this podcast is the help you need. That is the bridge. And that's why we do this. And it's hard to find guys like Mike and get him to come on the show and share all his secrets with you guys. So if you enjoyed it, give us a like, comment, go buy Mike's stuff. So then, we can use that to tell other people like Mike to come on the show. And
I will say we are not like Mike. So in the sense, don't leave us a negative comment on this video on YouTube, and don't thumbs down this stuff.
I'll protect
I can't
you.
take
I'll
it.
come in. I'll come
Thanks.
in. I'll be
Yeah,
watching.
Michael
Don't
come
worry.
in. He'll clap back. I can't do it. So please don't do that.
that's all we got for you this week, Gym World. Remember, you are enough, and we love you. Go out, take these secrets, and make loads of money, and use that money to buy Kilo one day. We'll catch you next week. Mike, thanks for making the time to do this. This is awesome, man.
No problem, guys. Thank you for having me. It was great.